Hello, my name is Mezaka, and since the last tutorial worked really well and a bunch of people watched it and appreciated it, I decided on making more kind of low-poly tutorials. So today's topic are landscapes, because yes, if you remember my own pictures, I'll open some of them. They always depend on a very good landscape in the background. Like, we have these mountain ranges normally in the background that add a lot of depth and to the scene and make it more interesting. Or, well, this is a 360-degree image, but yeah, this one also has this kind of dirt landscape. And we are gonna create several different landscapes today. First one will be the classical mountain range, like you can see it over here. The second one will be a more kind of hilly kind of landscape. The third one will be this typical Australian or mid-American reddish kind of landscape. And the fourth one will be the standard platform that I use for my isometric scenes. So, let's get started. This is how the finished mountain range looks like in Blender. So, we have our object here, and it is actually made out of two objects, a plane and the mountains. So to create those mountains, I used so-called Hightmaps. In this case, I used this Hightmap. This Hightmap contains information about how the mountain is shaped. So I will give you a link right here on the screen that leads you to a website, Planet Minecraft. Since I'm from the Minecraft community, I learned how to use Hightmaps there, and there's a really good collection of Hightmaps over there that you can just download and use. So, but I'm gonna use this texture. This is on my desktop, so we will just open it in a second. So, to make all this look better, I will move the camera and the lamp with the M key to the second slot, so we can build our second mountain range over here. I'll position the cursor to the center and add a new plane. Scale that a bit up. And this is the plane that we will be working with. So first thing I'm gonna do is go into the edit mode, hit W and subdivide it like 50 times, or maybe even more, 100 times. Okay, this can create a bit of lag, so don't like put 500 or very high numbers in there. Then I'm gonna go to the modifier tab and edit displace modifier. Create a new texture and open our Hightmap from the desktop, and this is this one. And this doesn't look like we want it to look, but yes. We go to the modifier tab next and reduce the strength so that it isn't super high and super sharp, because that's not what we want to get. I guess 0.2 works well. Then we can apply this and remove some things. Z first to make it transparent. Then select the faces and remove them. And also remove these outer parts, so that we don't have to deal with the extra geometry over there and just can concentrate on the mountain itself. Next thing I'm gonna do is add a decimate modifier, and yeah, search for a good amount of decimating this mountain range. I don't want to remove too much information, but I also want it to look low poly, so I guess this works fine. I'm gonna apply it, and then we have our mountain. I'm just gonna add a plane down there so that it looks a bit better. Scale it. Go to the top view and scale it in this dimension. Rotate it so that the camera can see it. And scale it a bit up. And there we go. Now we can see our mountain range from the camera view a bit better. I'm just gonna hit render with less sub 50% image size so that it renders faster. Yeah, this is our first result. It already looks kinda good. So next thing I'm gonna do is create a grass material. I already got one over here, so I'm just gonna reuse that. Hit the material view in this tab. This is a quite yellowish green, almost in the center, so that you know. And I'm gonna add the stone material here. This is kind of reddish gray. I could make it even more red, but I guess this works fine. And now there's a bunch of things left to do that we have to do by hand. So I will move the plane out of this tab so that we can concentrate on this. We now have to add the grass. So, for example, this is gonna be grass. I know that. And that's how we just select it, hit assign, then we get the grass material. But now we have to go around the borders of the mountain and guess where stone would be and where it would be grass. Yeah, this requires some experience to look good, but I guess it's not too hard. So I'm just gonna cut the outer edge of it away. It also depends on the angle of the faces. So, like if you have this face has a very high angle, so no grass would grow on there. But over here we have these very flat surfaces, so grass can grow on them. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, maybe make this over here finished and then we can stop. Because I already did all this before the tutorial to prepare a bit. This face as well. And yeah, that already starts looking quite good. So the trick is just using a Hightmap, and then we can create these kind of results, which look very, very good if you put them in the background and yeah, just let them add depth to the scene. The next one is the more kind of hilly landscape. This doesn't really look good on its own, but I guess if you add mountains and very flat plains to it, it can really add to the variety of landscapes that you can put into your scene. So let's open that in Blender, and here we go. This is how this looks in Blender. So let's move the lamp and the camera to a new tab again, and add a new plane. Scale it up. Okay. And then subdivide it smoothly. So first gonna subdivide it 4 times. Add a bit of fractal in there. And then subdivide it again. That makes you not have only very small detail, but also larger kind of detail, which is important in this case. Yeah, I guess that works. Now we're gonna go to the top view with numpad 7. Hit C to create our sphere select tool, and just draw the lines that the hills should take into our scene. Then we hit O to enable this kind of dynamic working, and with scrolling you can increase or decrease the size of the mountains or the hills, and this is it. Very easy. You can add a grass texture and it already looks good. And if you add bigger planes in the middle of these, you can also let me rotate that. You can maybe get a scene like this, where you have hills around the edges and in the middle a flat plain where you could put a house and trees and everything. Yes, so that's the hills. So our third landscape will be these reddish kind of mountains. And yeah, let's just get started. This is how they look like in Blender. Very easy to use. You can just put them in the background and they will look good immediately. So let's move the sun and our camera again and create a new plane. Scale it up. Subdivide it, because we are gonna use a height map again. Okay. Add modifier, displace, new texture, go to the texture tab, open our texture, mountain 4 is the one I want to use. Apply this, scale it a bit in the Z direction so that it is more flat. And add a slight decimate modifier. Okay. Then we are gonna remove the planes at the bottom again with B, selecting them, deleting the faces, hitting Z again, or going to the material view. We can already add the material, I guess. And yeah, this would be a normal mountain. But what we now will do is go to the front or side view, hit Tab, Z and B to select certain height of a mountain. Hit O to remove this kind of scaling, and move it a bit up. You can already see it's created this kind of sharp edge. Then I'm gonna scale our selection on top of here in the Z direction to make it more flat a bit. Hit Z again, select another part of this, move it up, scale it in the Z direction, hit Z, hit Tab, and there we go. This is already almost finished. Let's scale this a bit again. Yeah, that looks better. Now I'm gonna add a triangulate. Oh, well, first we decimate, I guess. Hit triangulate as well. And see whether we can make it look better by removing some of the detail. I guess a bit, yes. Then triangulate it. And go to the edit mode again, hit Z. Select our faces that we scaled up. And then invert the selection, or select in okay, let's just add a new material, the lighter one, add it to everything, and then select our faces again. I guess that's the easier way. Also you can see the line of dots of our faces a bit in the Z tab. That can be quite helpful. So now we're just gonna look around the mountain and see if it missed any faces. Yes, over here. Yeah, and that's it. We can already render this, and it looks quite good, except for the lamp, because the lamp is throwing a very big shadow over there. We can just rotate it a bit and it will look better. Yes. Okay, to the next step. The last one is my kind of standard isometric platform. You can use this in a bunch of isometric scenes. I used it for the houses that I'm working on right now, so you can see that it is really useful for isometric scenes. So let's recreate those in Blender. This is how they look finished. This is a very thin one, but I guess we are gonna make a not so thin one. I'm just moving the camera and the lamp over to the next tab. The camera, of course, is a orthographic camera to fit the isometric kind of style. And I'm gonna add a new plane. Scale it a bit up. Scale it a bit smaller so that it looks good in the camera. Subdivide it. I guess 10 times works. Maybe 12. 10. Okay. Oh, I forgot to add the fractal number because we want it to look a bit more random. Maybe 0.2. Yeah, that works. Then I'm gonna extrude this, scale it a bit. This is like the edge of the grass. Extrude it again, scale it again. So this is the grass, essentially. Then I'm gonna extrude it and see how deep I want it to be. Yeah, maybe like this. And then Control R to subdivide it so that we have a bunch of squares over here. And you have to count the cuts because we want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I guess it has to be an even number, if I'm right. Then I'm gonna select every second. Nope, it has to be an uneven number. Okay, so yeah, 6 in the middle plus 1 is 7. Yeah, now it works, so that the one at the top is going to be scaled down, and yeah, it's on the bottom. But before we select those, we have to go in the front view, go down to select everything that is below the island. And then with Shift Alt, we can add new cuts to this. Then I'm gonna scale Shift Z so that it only scales in the Y and the X direction. And scale it a bit down. And we're almost done. I'm just gonna add a grass material to everything. Then with Alt and Shift, select these cuts, add a dirt layer, select everything else, also everything that is below the island, and add a stone layer. And that's it. Already looks like a floating kind of island. And yes, you can use this to create scenes like this. I mean, I added a bit of sand as well over here, and I added a bunch of stones down there, but that's quite easy, and I guess you know how to solve those problems. So, all in all, we looked at 4 different kind of landscapes, and I really do hope that they help you creating better scenes. I guess the most important trick is to use Hightmaps. There's also a program to create those kind of Hightmaps. It's called World Machine. But World Machine itself is so complex that it would take me hours to explain everything that I know about that and how to use it. But for those of you who are very, very interested into it, maybe Google World Machine and yeah, get into that. Yeah, so all in all, thank you for listening and see you next time. Bye. Hello, my name is Mezaka, and since the